Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 83 based on novel. So let's start. In Huyang City, Mo Yu Qingyang and his wife stayed in the city for a while and were about to leave. This is where I grew up. My father and my brother are here. Mo Yu Qingyang was reluctant to leave. I even want us to live here together. After all, Master also has a clone here, and I can often ask for advice. I know you are reluctant to leave. His wife Yun-Ji said with a smile, but from the perspective of cultivation, Huyang City is just a city in the more remote country, Yu Kingdom, in the entire origin continent. In terms of resources, it is far inferior to Xiangjie City. After all, Xiangjie City is a border city between two ancient countries, and its prosperity is far beyond here. For spiritual practice, resources are very important. Besides, the deputy city lord of Huyang City is your father and Mo Lemon. Are you here to take their positions? Yun-Ji said, besides, your second master and Yuan Shen-Jun are both in Xiangjie City. They have both given you guidance. I understand everything. Mo Yu Qingyang nodded. So I'm just talking to you. For ourselves and our future children, Xiangjie City is the best. Let's go. Yun-Ji said. Yeah. Mo Yu and Qingyang walked out of the residence together. In the city lord's mansion, all the members of the Mo Yu family, including Mo Li Meng and some friends, came to see off Mo Yu Qingyang and his wife, as well as Mo Luo Sa. Father. Mo Yu Qingyang looked at his father. Mo Yu Hu was very pleased and immediately sent a voice message to ask, Qingyang, City Lord Luo trusts me and accepts you as his disciple. This is a great favor. You must remember this great favor and must not be arrogant. Once you become arrogant and make City Lord Luo dislike you, then this friendship will be gone. I understand. Mo Yu Qingyang nodded. Having followed his master for so long, he certainly understood his master's temper. It is very difficult for practitioners like me to encounter a great opportunity in our lifetime. City Lord Luo is your greatest opportunity. Remember this. Mo Yu Hu watched his son's future become brighter and brighter and reminded his son again and again. In such a short time, his son became an eternal true god. In Xiangjie City, he was almost equivalent to the acting city lord, and he became a Taoist partner with the daughter of the royal family. It can be seen that his future is bright. Second brother. Mo Yu Lai Feng looked at his brother. He had good resources in Huyang City, but after all, he did not have a strong man like Mo Luosa to guide him attentively. Moreover, he had been practicing bloodline cultivation from the beginning, and he was still stuck in the void true god stage. When he was young, he was obviously the most talented among the three brothers. But Mo Yu Qingyang had Morosa's guidance and Luo Feng's resources to cultivate him, so it was obviously different. Of course, Mo Yu Lai Feng didn't care, he just felt happy. Because he only has this one brother in this world. I don't know when we will meet next time. Mo Yu Lai Feng looked at his only brother, have more children with your sister-in-law. You are the only one among the three of us who still don't have any children. Sure. Mo Yu Qingyang smiled, then looked at a young man in the distance and waved, Feng Qiu, come here. Second uncle. The young man walked over. He looked somewhat similar to Mo Yu Liuxing. Mo Yu Feng Qiu, when the third brother Mo Yu was exiled to death, his wife Mo Youshang was already pregnant, and the child she gave birth to was Mo Yu Feng Qiu. According to the requirements of the big clan, Mo Yu Fengqi also followed the law cultivation system in the early stage, and now he is only a true god. Morosa was waiting in the distance, and although he was a little anxious, he didn't say much. After a moment, we can finally set off. Morosa heaved a sigh of relief when he saw Mo Yu Qingyang and his wife coming over. He had been craving for delicious food. Second master, let's go. Mo Yu Qingyang walked over. Morosa nodded, and immediately waved his hand and a flying boat appeared. Morosa, Mo Yu Qingyang and his wife, and their followers all got on the flying boat. Soon, the flying boat broke through the air and disappeared between heaven and earth. The Mo Yu family watched this scene from afar. Huyang City and Xiangjie City were too far apart, and they could only see each other rarely without special circumstances. My second uncle is quite generous. Every time he comes back, he gives me much more resources than my eldest uncle and his family, Mo Yu Fengqi thought to himself as he watched this scene. Although his mother was strict in management, as the only child of Mo Yu Liu, he was naturally favored by the Mo Yu family and was undoubtedly a powerful figure in Huyang City. However, because of City Lord Luo's temper, the children of the two deputy city lords' families, the Mo Yu family and the Mo Li family, had to restrain themselves and be cautious. I trust Mo Yu Hu the most when he does things. Luo Feng's clone in the city lord's mansion also watched this scene from afar. Mo Yu Lai Feng was not bad, but the Mo Yu family's disciples after him were all rather mediocre. When the Xinjiang sect was rampant, Mo Yu was exiled and died. Luo Feng had thought that if Mo Yu Liu Xing's child Mo Yu Feng Chiu had a good character, he could cultivate him. However, with Luo Feng's ability to observe the entire city with one thought, after such a long time, Luo Feng gave up cultivating him. Mo Luo Shou brought Mo Yu Qingyang and his wife and traveled all the way from Huyang City of Yu State. When they arrived at the territory of the ancient country of Yangfeng, they first went to Chu capital and then rushed to the border city, Xiangjie City. In Chudu, Luo Feng's cave, in the Star Tower, as a world beast, Morosa had the ability to split himself when he was young, which was also one of his innate means. At this moment, his real body stayed in the Star Tower and digested the corpse of the God King. Master, Master! Not long after digestion, Morosa immediately summoned his master. What's wrong? Luo Feng came to the level of space dedicated to Morosa in the Star Tower. The body of the God King is very special, Morosa said with a serious expression. Not suitable for swallowing and digestion? Luo Feng asked. Morosa said, this corpse of the God King has been of great help to me, but the essence of this corpse is definitely not something that can be cultivated at the first level of the God King realm. Luo Feng's expression changed slightly. What do you mean? While I was digesting it, I could clearly sense that this corpse contained many mysteries of the Great Tao of the origin of matter and the Great Tao of the origin of infinity. The two great ways were combined to cultivate this body. In terms of the degree of mystery, it is far beyond my current realm and is definitely not the first level of the Divine King. It may be the second level of the Divine King, or even the ultimate level of the Divine King. Luo Feng was shocked. The God King I killed, although his body was strong and formidable, I estimate that he was only at the extremely strong level of the first level of God King. He is still far from the invincible level of the first level of God King. Luo Feng said. This body should have been refined by an extremely powerful being, said Morosa. No wonder. No wonder his mental will is so weak. His strongest body is all helped by external forces. Luo Feng understood. The God King that he killed should have very shallow foundation. It's only with the help of external forces and a strong body that he has such strength. The body also needs the will of the mind to control it. Morosa said, this body has great potential. The dead God King, his will of the mind is relatively weak, and he can only exert part of the strength of the body. If his will of the mind is strong, his strength will probably soar sharply. Luo Feng nodded. Master, cultivating your own body is very different from helping other practitioners cultivate their bodies. The difficulty is completely different. Morosa said solemnly. I can only rely on the realm in my body to naturally breed life. But this dark existence can achieve this with his own realm. It's really terrifying. Luo Feng nodded. We have to be careful with this one. Morosa said, at least for now, we are far from being his opponent. The difference between them can be seen from just one corpse. I am only in the Chaos realm now, and you are only in the first level of the Divine King realm. Don't think about your opponent, just become stronger slowly. Luo Feng said. Yeah. Morosa nodded. He was also a little shocked by digesting the corpse. Time passes. After the death of the God King of Shadow Sky Realm, there was no news of the death of any God King in the entire Origin continent. This made Luofeng and Morosa more certain that this should be a servant refined by some terrifying existence. After that, Luofeng did not encounter any more trouble. It was obvious that the terrifying existence that refined that body had no intention of targeting Luofeng. Compared with some of the truly top-notch beings in the origin continent, I am still too weak. Luofeng also focused on practicing. The Tianquan Lord of the Food Kingdom, who gave him a headache, was a second-level god king. Although he could be considered a hegemon, he was far inferior to the top existence of the origin continent. The leaders of the dark forces in the origin continent were all mysterious and terrifying. The Palace of Two Realms, the Tower of 10,000 Laws, and the lonely ship of time and space are forces that the two ancient countries are very wary of. There are alien warriors behind them. The alien warriors can never be killed by their clones. The two ancient countries did not feel that the Shadow Heaven realm that they had come into contact with this time was a threat, but the Shadow Heaven realm had also sent out Emperor-level combat forces. As soon as they had a brief contact with it, they realized that there was an unfathomable depth behind it. I am just a little guy, so I will accumulate experience slowly first. After taking the Hunyuan Crystal Spirit Fruit and the Qingling Spirit Liquid, Luofeng mainly comprehended the 10 Directions world form. Only when he was exhausted would he comprehend the Robbery Beast map to deal with some spiritual creatures in the infinite space. In the infinite space, for special inheritances were exchanged, of course, they were only the first level of the Divine King realm. But it also broadened Luofeng's horizons, and he also understood the importance of understanding and spiritual will. Just like Luofeng's transformation method, if his mind is weaker, the number of Trinity forms he controls will be greatly reduced, and his strength will be reduced overall. Moreover, the mind also affects many aspects such as the perception of the Great Tao and the control of the physical body. I have a feeling that as long as I try to comprehend the 6 major branches of life, it shouldn't take long for me to figure it out. Luofeng had this feeling while practicing. But it's not enough. According to what the creator of World Life Form said, there is no need to comprehend it deliberately. Once you accumulate it to the deepest level, you will master it naturally. Luofeng continued to study the form of the 10 Directions world. The 6 branches of life and the 6 branches of destruction have all reached the peak of the Chaos realm in hundreds of centuries, but it is obvious that there is still a gap in the accumulation of the two. As for the 6 branches of destruction, Luofeng does not have the feeling that as long as he comprehends it, he can quickly break through. A vast dark world where countless creatures struggle to survive. We finally won. We finally destroyed this world-destroying terror. We have finally eliminated one of the 7 world-destroying terrors. This is a new beginning. The 3 remaining powerful practitioners were quite pleased, and the many creatures in the base far behind were cheering excitedly. As long as we pass on the torch, generation after generation, we will eventually eliminate these terrors completely, and our world will regain light and freedom. Countless lives are full of yearning for light. Wow! Suddenly, in the dark sky, a huge blood-red eye suddenly opened. This scene made countless creatures' hearts tremble. It's the Eye of Darkness. Heavenly level terror, Eye of Darkness. These creatures were terrified. According to their classification, among the many terrors that invaded their world, the one that stood out the most was the heavenly terror, the Eye of Darkness. When this eye opened in the sky for the first time, the whole world fell into darkness forever. They still have the confidence to fight against the world-destroying terror, but facing the supreme heaven-level terror, Eye of Darkness, they only feel powerless. The more you understand, the more you realize the huge gap. The way of heaven has changed. The way of heaven has become the Eye of Darkness. When powerful practitioners comprehend the way of heaven, they find that the way of heaven has changed. Even the ultimate direction of their own practice can only lead to the Eye of Darkness. Fortunately, over the long years that have passed, the Eye of Darkness has indeed been like the law of nature, treating everything equally. Buzz. The Eye of Darkness emitted a red light, which covered a city like a pillar of heaven. The city suddenly came alive, and its aura soared rapidly, transforming into a towering twisted creature. This towering twisted creature knelt down and saluted. The city of illusion has evolved into a world-destroying terror? In the rear base, countless creatures who had detected this scene from afar were in despair. We finally killed a world-destroying terror, and now there's a new one. The 7 world-destroying terrors are a fixed number. Inside the base, a powerful cultivator sensed the operation of the heavenly Tao and murmured, "The Eye of Darkness is the heavenly Tao." The heavenly Tao has determined that there will always be 7 world-destroying terrors. When one is destroyed, a new one will take over. No matter how we struggle, it's useless. Is it a fixed number? Many of the creatures who struggled for it despaired. Suddenly, the dark eye in the sky let out a shrill howl. No! This terrifying howl of heaven-level terror resounded in the hearts of every living being in the world. They all felt the fear and unwillingness of the Eye of Darkness. Afterwards, the Eye of Darkness in the sky disappeared silently. The sky seemed to have removed a huge black curtain, revealing its original appearance. The warm sunlight, after a long time, shines on the land again, and the sky and earth are bright again. What is this? Accustomed to the light condensed by the formation, many creatures are exposed to real sunlight for the first time in their lives. They are obsessed with the legendary light. Light fills the whole world. The heavenly Tao level terror, Eye of Darkness, has disappeared, and heavenly Tao has returned to normal. A powerful practitioner comprehended heavenly Tao and said excitedly, "Although the 7 world-destroying terrors are still there, their territories have shrunk completely under the sunlight. Ha ha, the world has changed. It has changed. Treasure land, infinite space. Well, using the ultimate will of the God King to perform the element technique, I can finally kill the most common spiritual creatures." Luo Feng was very satisfied, watching the bloody one-eyed monster in front of him being completely annihilated. Once the mind of a spiritual creature is destroyed, it disappears completely. The total reward points Luo Feng received from this spiritual creature also reached 10 points. If he just dealt heavy damage and repelled it again and again, the accumulated reward points would generally be more than 5 points. These spiritual creatures in the infinite space can reach the God King level with their spiritual power alone. I don't know where Yuan Jianli got these spiritual creatures from when he established this precious land. Luo Feng sighed secretly. There is not a single spiritual creature in the origin continent. According to the intelligence, the strong ones with the ultimate will of the God King are expected to kill them completely. Luo Feng thought, it seems that those strong ones have also obtained a very powerful will secret technique. In the treasure house of infinite space alone, there are inheritances that include the secret art of will. These inheritances may not be as good as the art of column elements, but the gap is obviously getting smaller and smaller. As my strength increases, the levels I come into contact with are getting higher and higher. Maybe I can encounter a will secret technique that is equivalent to the element technique. Luo Feng thought to himself. Look at the inheritances in the infinite space treasury. For example, the special inheritance, World Life Form, was created by Yuan's friend. What about those perfect inheritances? If this level of inheritance is good at the direction of will, how powerful would it be? The art of Liyuan is, after all, just one of the many opportunities that Yuan left behind on the origin continent. Luo Feng was also reminding himself not to be proud. For example, Emperor Ming. The method of cultivating will hidden in the robbery beast diagram that Emperor Ming gave to him was a secret method created by Emperor Ming himself. Luo Feng felt that it was no less powerful than the Great Destruction mind refining method in The Art of Element. Of course, the power of the Great Destruction mind refining method also depended on Luo Feng's realm of the Great Tao of the origin of destruction. Of the 3 spiritual creatures I had in the infinite space, the 2 weak ones died, leaving only one powerful one. Luo Feng thought, it's time to find a new spiritual creature. Luo Feng left one avatar behind to guard the powerful spiritual creature. Luo Feng couldn't destroy this powerful spiritual creature, and it would probably take a long battle. Luo Feng sent out 9 avatars to fly away in all directions, to some remote places, to explore and look for new prey. Luo He, leave quickly. This is our territory. Invisible fluctuations of thoughts and warnings. The places with the most prey in the infinite space had long been occupied by ancient beings. Although they could recognize that it was the great sage Luo He, they didn't care at all. Luo He, the number one in the Chaos Realm, has no influence at all. Luo Feng laughed at himself during the flight. In reality, Luo Feng has a very high status and many powerful people give him face. But infinite space, this is the treasure land left by Yuan, and the threshold to enter here is too high. Those who are not the god kings of the two royal families who can come here are generally the overlords of the origin continent. After all, for someone like Wu Xiong Laozu, who is at the limit of the first level of the God King, it is already very difficult to get a place. As for the weaker ones, only the two royal families would allow Chaos Realm Transcendence and ordinary God Kings to come in. But as royal families, they all gathered together. They would be protected by powerful royal families and would be the most powerful force in the infinite space. The infinite space has sealed off 19 origin avenues, so to use the Divine King level moves here, one must open up new avenues. Luo Feng thought. Here, even the emperors and monarchs, if they did not open up new avenues, would probably be relatively weak and could only rely on their spiritual will to fight the enemy. This is also the reason why Patriarch Wu Xiang was so confident when facing Luo Feng. In the infinite space, those who can perform God King level secret techniques are considered masters. Opening up a whole branch of the avenue? He is considered a top-notch expert. The road he opened up reached the second level of the Divine King? He had never heard of it. At least there was no record of it in the information that Emperor Chu gave Luo Feng. Luo He? Suddenly a thought touched Luo Feng. Luo Feng took a look and saw an old man in a loose white robe in the distance. God King Wu Xiu. Luo Feng recognized the other party. He was the God King of the Emperor Wu lineage of the Yangfeng ancient country. He was considered to be at an extremely strong level among the first level of God Kings. I didn't expect to see the great sage Luo He here. Wu Xiu God King looked at Luo Feng and said with a smile, "It stands to reason that my Yangfeng ancient country would not give you the quota." "Where did you get this quota?" "It's not from the ancient country of Yangfeng." Luo Feng said. "I know. What I'm asking is, where did you get the quota?" Wu Xiu Divine King asked, "Or did Emperor Chu deliberately show favoritism and secretly get a token and give it to you? Are you slandering my master?" Luo Feng's face darkened. "Who doesn't know what Emperor Chu does?" Wu Xiu God King sneered. "Humph." Luo Feng no longer had any good intentions. How could Luo Feng be willing to be nice to someone who was targeting his master like this? However, the relationship between the Di Wu lineage and the Di Chu lineage is very bad, conflicts between the two lineages often occur, and countless hatreds have accumulated over the long years. "Brother Wu Xiu." A figure flew over from a distance. It was a man with grey robe and white hair. The white-haired man glanced at Luo Feng and said, "It turned out to be Luo He." "Luo He, leave quickly. This is the territory where the royal family of my ancient Yangfeng country is located. This is not the place for you to stay." The white-haired man shouted. "Flame Sky Divine King." Luo Feng recognized the other party and flew away without saying anything more. Flame Sky Divine King of the second level. In the royal family of the ancient Yangfeng kingdom, he is also a core member. Naturally, he has the qualifications to act recklessly. Even when facing the Lord of the 10,000 Realms and the world beast of the Qianmu kingdom, he probably doesn't care at all. No wonder Master advised me that unless the Yangfeng ancestor invited me, there was no need to join the Yangfeng ancient country. Luo Feng sighed. After all, only a few people can treat outsiders well. Luo Feng could understand that the royal god kings banded together to seize most of the resources and gave a little to the hard-working guest god kings. But Luo Feng was indeed quite unhappy with this feeling of being discriminated against and excluded. This is still not fully joined. If you join completely, the restrictions will be greatly increased. You will be ordered around by these royal gods and kings and become their minions. There's no need to pay too much attention to Luo He. The white-haired man, Flame Sky God King, glanced at Luo Feng in the distance. Even if he becomes a God King, he is only invincible in the first level of God King. He can't affect the royal family like us in the slightest. I doubt his quota. Wuxiu God King said, he is a Chaos Realm transcendent, it is impossible for him to have 50 million merits. How did he get the quota? I suspect that Di Chu got the token and gave it to Luo He. Oh. The white-haired man, Yanqiong Divine King, had a slightly changed expression. What you said is very likely. Di Chu is indeed a bit reckless. As a member of the royal family, he does not consider the royal family wholeheartedly, and often helps those outside the royal family. I will ask the emperor about this matter and investigate it. There was a cold look in the eyes of the Flame Sky God King. We must find out how he got the quota to come in. If it was really given by Emperor Chu in private, we must not let him off easily. There was a cold look in the eyes of God King Yanqiong. He became a God King much longer than Emperor Chu. Emperor Chu and Emperor Yanqiong had many conflicts. Emperor Yanqiong was the second most powerful person in the Emperor Yang lineage, and he was always eager to fight against Emperor Chu. If he finds any problem with Emperor Chu, the God King Yanqiong will of course chase him and beat him. If this matter is verified. God King Wuxiu was quite hesitant. This is the rule set by the ancestor. Emperor Chu will be punished if he makes a mistake. As for Luo He, first of all, he must be expelled from the infinite space, deprived of this opportunity, and severely punished. Flame Sky God King said, a guest official from the Chaos Realm can also come in. What a joke. This video will end here.